Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, X-Wing players, and anyone who is potentially interested in X-Wing. Welcome to our channel. Please subscribe to our future transmissions and click like on our videos. The more videos you click like on, the more we know what videos to create more of. My call sign is BatMando, and if you are interested in learning this game or are just getting back into this game, then this is the place to be, and we welcome you. So, today we are continuing a series of videos called What Can I Fly? Talking about the different types of ships and their purposes. So, in which case, the topics for today or this video are going to be support ships and turret ships. So, most of these ships have the purpose of coordinating other ships, transporting specific crew cards, grabbing objectives, and then, of course, range 2 to 3 offense. I say range 2 offense because some of the turrets, well, the only turrets I can think of only go to range 2 anyway, since we only have 2 types of turrets, and those are the dorsal turret and the ion turret. So, let's go ahead and move on to our support ships. So, as stated earlier, support ships are really here to carry the crew cards. They also are here to coordinate actions, and some of them can provide special actions such as jam, specifically the TIE Reaper. And since I'm talking about the TIE Reaper, and we just talked about carrying crew cards, the TIE Reaper is especially important to the Empire because it's a small ship that you can go ahead and put Palpatine or Vader on, and both of those have force, obviously, and since they're using their force or can use their force to go ahead and flip a focus into a hit or into an evade, just depending on the situation where you need it. So now that can be frustrating. We also have other crew members that can be carried on these ships that are also equally as frustrating, such as Saw Gerrera for the Rebels. Now, I'm not going to go through examples for every single faction. I'm just going to let you know that yes, we have lots of different support ships, and I'm also going to go ahead and tell you that a whole bunch of them can carry crew that are going to really help people on the field or specifically that ship. So now let's go ahead and move on to the one support ship that I find the most frustrating as an opponent, and that is the U-Wing piloted by Magva Yara. Now, I argue that she is the most frustrating because her ability to reduce the number of offensive rerolls. So that means that your attacks either have to be natural hits or crits, or you got to go ahead and make certain that you are focused up and you're rolling focus results. Because if you have a target lock on her or any ship that is to the left or right of her or just within range 0 to 2 of her, guess what? You have to, or you can put a target lock on those ships, but you're only going to be able to re-roll one of those die. So in which case, make certain that you focus up. Do everything that you can to get Magva out of that picture as quick as possible, because most times when I see Magva being flown, Magva is in the center of the squad, and if they're moving as a group, you're not going to be able to get a lot of rerolls on any of the ships within her range 0 to 2. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some shuttle shenanigans provided by the First Order. Now, what I will say is usually I use Gideon Hask, not just for his ability, although that helps. What I'm also going to say is that usually you are able to fit all of these people here, and with his pilot skill being 4, and most of the FOs that you want to use being 4, there are lots of different things that I'm about to show you that are pretty cool and awesome, especially to do in a game. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the tactical officer. Now, that tactical officer is going to turn your red coordinate into a white coordinate. Then you go ahead and stack on General Hux, and General Hux, as you can read right there, when he performs the white coordinate action, you can treat it as red, and you can coordinate the same action to 3 total ships of the same type. So, now, each of those ships are going to be stressed after all receiving whatever the coordinated action is, whether it's target locks or it's focus or evades, all of them are going to be stressed after that. So you need to plan before then that those 3 ships are all completing blue maneuvers. I'm just going to say that timing is crucial to pull this off. And I actually have one picture to help you understand this a little bit better. I also advise that you put a pattern analyzer in this mix in the events that you have to do a full complete stop. You can still do coordination after completing that red maneuver. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what we can do with the Tactical Officer General Hux, and here we go. Now, you need to plan, as I said earlier, you need to plan 3 blue maneuvers for the 3 ships. In this instance, they are the FO ties. You also need to establish enough distance between your shuttle and the ships that you plan to coordinate. So previously, this ship had done a full complete stop and then went forward 1, and that was a blue maneuver. Then, after the shuttle had completed the maneuver, this is when the coordination went in. So Gideon here goes ahead and coordinates all 3 of these FO ties to do a focus. They're all stressed right now, but they will clear that stress action when they do a blue maneuver and then get a second action after that. It could be another lock, it could be a lock, it could be a focus token, but either way, your FO ties here are double modded, and that means trouble for whoever is your opponent at that point in time. So let's go ahead. Oh, before we move on to the next topic, I would also advise that you not use Scorch for this particular group of FOs. Why, you might ask? Because if you know Scorch, Scorch's ability to roll an additional attack die means that Scorch would take another stress token, which means that if he is stressed at the end of the round and then you try to coordinate him at the beginning of the next round, that means he's already stressed at that point in time, and you cannot coordinate an action to a stressed ship. So there you have it. So Scorch, if you do plan on flying Scorch in a group like this, fly Scorch off somewhere else and just understand that you're not going to be coordinating an action to Scorch if Scorch took use of Scorch's ability to take a stress in order to roll additional attack die. All right, now let's go ahead and go on to the next topic, and that is going to be turret ships. So now, let's see here. Their purpose is to flank, because if they have a turret ship, they can shoot out the side, they can shoot out the back. They don't need to engage you head to head. So now they also are going to be grabbing objectives, and then of course they're going to be range 2 to 3 offense. With the turrets that we have, they only go to range 2. Now, some of the ships, such as the Warthog that already has a turret on it, they can go ahead and shoot range 3 because that is their natural primary weapon. If you're adding on a turret, say to a Y-Wing, then in which case you only get the options of the ion cannon or the dorsal, and guess what? Both of those are range 1 to 2. Okay, cool. Now, let's go ahead and move on here. So we have, why put in a turret ship? Well, there are 5 reasons I can give you for putting in this particular ship. 1, they provide you an opportunity to perform circle offense, which I'll talk about here in just a minute. Then they also have a tendency to pull opponents off of their mission to chase you while you jump from objective to objective. That distraction will keep your opponent off mission or off balance, and while they are on the outskirts of this field grabbing objectives, they can use the obstacles to their advantage for trick shot and other upgrades to make their long range offensive even better. So now, The long-range offense and obstructed attacks can also be another source of frustration for your opponents, especially if they have ships in the middle of the mat. So, talking about circle offense for a second. So, right now I'm showing you the Rebel freighter. I'm going to show you the Scum freighter here in just a little bit with the Falcon. Now, what I'm going to say in this regard is that if you're going to fly a ship like the Falcon, most times you're going to be flying it around the board edge or not in the middle. You can put it in the middle, but it kind of defeats the purpose, because with that one defense, it's usually better to be flying around the board. As you're flying around the board, if you go ahead and throw in Trick Shot, plus with Han's ability that after you roll dice, and if you are range 0 to 1 of an obstacle, you can re-roll all of your attack die. So, Trick Shot, in addition with Han's ability with the Rebels, oh my goodness. This is going to be absolutely crazy, and sometimes that is going to lead to frustration on your opponent's side because they don't know how to take care of it, because usually an obstruction is, well, the obstruction still helps you with defense, but they're now rolling an additional attack die if they're flying with Trick Shot. So let's go ahead and talk about tricking out a turret, and specifically the Scum Falcon. So what I'm going to tell you is not a lot of people fly the Scum Falcon, and I can understand why. My guess is because of the 2 attack turret right here, not to mention the 1 defense. It's not a very strong ship when you consider that it only has a 2 attack die. Now, what you need to do is fly it around the board. As you can see, you need to go ahead and equip it with Trick Shot. Then have Han Solo flying it again, and instead of re-rolling all the attack die, as you saw with the Rebel, you now can go ahead and roll an additional attack die if your attack is obstructed by an obstacle. So, first, I'm going from 2 to 3 just because of pilot ability. Then when you throw in this talents, you're going from 3 to 4. Now, let's go ahead and throw in something else with Greedo here. Hopefully you're going to be shooting first, as Han always does. And with Greedo, you're going to be able to change one of those hit results into a crit result as long as this is active. Then, another thing to throw onto this is going to be Falcon's title, as in Lando's Falcon title. So, you don't need to have the escape craft docked with you in order to do this. While you perform a primary attack against a stressed ship, roll 1 additional attack die. So that means, in theory, and I've seen it practice and tried to do it several times myself, but it all depends on if that ship is stressed. So what I'm going to tell you is this. You can take this ship from 2 to 3 to 4 to possibly 5 attack dice just with this loadout that you see right here. Lando and L3 help out as well because, why not? So you got re-rolls, and then of course there's the one chance that you have to flip this card, and the attacker must re-roll all the attack dice. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine if, like, say, one of your A-Wings on the Rebel side rolls up with rockets on you, and they shoot 5 crits. Hey, guess what? You flip this card, and they have to re-roll all 5, and you just hope for a better result than, say, 5 crits, because I don't think you can get any better than that. So now, let's go ahead and move on to, our resources. So, as always, if there is an element of this video that did not make sense, feel free to check any of these 3 websites, which we include in every description of every video that we post. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email at the address on your screen. We'd like to thank Slides Carnival and Unsplash for their use of media during this presentation. And as always, please support our channel by subscribing. Click like on the videos that you want to see more of. Come back for our next video series. And as always, BatMando out.